we try and navigate our way. Well, at least we have parking assist cameras. Hello everyone, welcome back to Exhaust Notes Australia. Today I've been gifted a spaceship, the Hyundai Staria Highlander, and I don't know if you can tell, but this thing is massive, and it has an exterior appearance that wouldn't look too out of place in a sci-fi film like Blade Runner or Total Recall. Strap some side pods on it and you've got a shuttlecraft out of Star Trek or something like that. It's definitely unique, and I guess Hyundai have had to do that because when people think people movers, I don't think people get excited by them. The Staria has the benefit here of borrowing from its commercial cousin, and in the case of the passenger version, that huge cargo area just opens itself up to be a really roomy and spacious 8-seater with 2 rows, 3 seats back there. Powering the Highlander, we have a 2.2 litre diesel 4-cylinder engine, which is good for 130 kilowatts and 430 newton meters of torque. All that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and we have all-wheel drive in this one, which is handy for getting around town. Whilst this thing weighs 2.3 tons and is over 5 meters long, you can surprisingly get a bit of go out of it. It's not unaccustomed to spinning up the wheels in the wet weather, which I just found was really surprising. With the 8-speed automatic, we also have some different drive modes to choose from. So you may be pottering around in normal or eco. Maybe be surprised to know that there is also a sport mode if you want a little bit of extra up and go. You also have driver safety features like blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist. But thankfully there's no driver attention monitor, or it does have speed sign recognition, but it doesn't beep at you for going over the speed limit, which I think is a really good thing. So as mentioned, the Staria is about 5.2 meters long. It weighs 2.3 tons, and its size just doesn't end there. It's a hair away from 2 meters in height as well. So what you will find if you like something like this is that you'll be paying a lot more attention to the height restrictions in multi-story car parks, because this thing just may not fit. And yeah, I don't even think that accounts for the antenna at the back either. So just keep that in mind, that at 2 meters tall, this one's up there. You've also got to leave a lot of room behind you because that massive tailgate needs a lot of space to fully open, and I just don't know if the sensors are going to pick up that you're parked too close, and if you accidentally hit the open button, will it stop? I'm not too sure. I'm not going to risk it. I bet that would be a very expensive repair job should you have to do that. So space is the big thing here. Everything is big. Windows are huge, the doors are huge. We've got about 3 levels of cubbies in the front doors alone. The dashboard feels like you could land a 747 on it. It is so huge. The front windscreen just feels like it's miles away from me. Obviously we do have these massive side windows, and for the second row they open within, it's like a window within a window that you have there to open. Probably makes sense as that is the door. And then the third row windows sort of pop out to the side for their ventilation. But you do have air vents throughout so that the air conditioning gets all the way through. But your 6 passengers can sit with reasonable space back there. And if you need to see what they're getting up to, it is equipped with a really handy rear view camera that can be activated through the menu system. I've set it up as a shortcut. So through one button, I can just press that and see what's going on behind. So it's a nice, handy little feature. If you've got little ones in the back and maybe they've been quiet for a little too long and you want to see what's going on back there. And we have a nice 10.25 inch screen here, but even for my long arms, I do find that reaching over to the left side just seems a little too far, and because it's all touch screen, you don't quite know what you're pressing. And to sort of add to that, all of the buttons on the lower stack for your HVAC, for adjusting temperature, even your heated and ventilated seats, they're not physical buttons. So it means that until you're fully used to where everything is, you've got to take your eyes off the road and see where you're pressing. And I just find that really annoying is a strong word, but it's not intuitive until you finally learn where everything is. And even then, I'm just always kind of guessing, like, okay, is that the right button? To me, it's not a good ergonomic design, and reaching all the way over for the fan, things like that, just give us some knobs that we can turn and we can do it. I think would be a much easier, better solution there. Also, I did wonder if this was just a bad translation from left-hand drive to right-hand drive, and that's why the screen's so far away. But no, I looked at pictures, and yep, it is just flipped. So it's just a little annoying that's how this is. It just adds to the sense that this thing is huge, and it is. But I just feel it could be a little easier to navigate. The Highlander comes with 2 sunroofs. We have a sun blind for the rear, and we have an actual sunroof that can open, though it does have a manual blind for the front one, and then you can open that with the lever. So it's nice for a bit of extra airiness, because I mean, it's not like we don't have enough glass in the car already, but you know, if you want to be able to look out the top, that's how you can do that. It is nice. All the seats are leather appointed. They are pretty comfortable, but you just can't get around the fact that you're sitting higher than pretty much everyone on the road. We're up there with Ranger Raptors being pretty much the only other thing that can join us. We dwarf pretty much everything else. You do have to be careful with all the glass windows and things, that this car can heat up quite a bit during hot days. So thankfully the air conditioning is quite good in that regarding cooling the thing down. There are air vents all throughout to accommodate the 3 rows. Being this kind of van or people mover, there are only 6 speakers throughout, and 2 of those are tweeters. So don't expect too much from the audio system. It is adequate, it's decent, but yeah, it's certainly, it's not going to blow your socks off for clarity or anything like that, but it's fine. Also, as we would become used to, we have wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We also have a wireless charging pad in the middle console. So let's talk about price. So you can get the base model, the Staria, which is just called the Staria, will start from about $54,000. Obviously, you'll miss out on quite a few of the options that you have here. The mid-range is called the Elite, which is from about $62,000. And then you jump up to the Highlander, where you have the option of the petrol V6 or the diesel 4-cylinder that we have here, starting at about $69,000, $70,000. The petrol, when I priced it up, was from about $70,000, and the diesel was from about $73,200. So, you know, we're asking a fair bit of money there to get into these. It would seem that you're getting quite a lot of car for that money as well. Just for specs, the 3.5 litre petrol engine is front wheel drive only, and does come with 200 kilowatts and 331 newton meters of torque, which it doesn't sound too bad really. And then, so as I said earlier, the 2.2 litre diesel, so that's the inline 4, that comes with all the torque, but you're only getting 130 kilowatts and then 430 newton meters of torque there. But you know, with the added bonus of the all-wheel drive, and I do like you get a little graphic on the screen that shows you all the power going to which wheels. So Hyundai claims that the Staria in this format will do 8.2 litres to the 100. We've been seeing high 9s since I've had it. Is probably the best that we've been able to get. So about 9.6, 9.7 litres to the 100. It also shows 10.8 since it was being refueled. So the 8s might be a little bit optimistic, unless you're doing a lot of highway driving, economy runs perhaps, to get those better figures. The car sits on 18-inch wheels. There's nothing really stand out about them. They could be mistaken for hubcaps if you were looking from afar. It just goes with that retro modern styling, I guess, of the whole thing. And on this silver version, they just don't make much of a statement. And I mean, that's something you want to think of too. Do you want to make too much of a statement? Because this car, just presence alone would do that. And in certain colors, I think that would be something too. In the silver here, contrasted against the black windows, it's not a bad combination. In the darker tones, certainly is a lot more in your face there, because it has that more gangster vibes, I suppose, with that space age look and front and stuff. Very minimalistic front, but it is definitely a distinctive space agey front that Hyundai have gone for and this was the car that brought us the Horizon LED bar that now sits on the Kona and the Sonata as well. So the rear is just the massive tailgate, bordered by 2 columns of the tail lights, which are that sort of pixelated look that you might have seen on the Ioniq 5. So when it comes to competition for this car, you've got the LDV Mifa, which starts from about $54,000. That's only a 7-seater and is a little bit shorter than this. Height-wise, it's 1845 millimeters tall instead of 1995 that this is. You've also got the Toyota Granvia. That's the same height as this. That's also all of almost 2 meters in height. And that one will come to about $77,000 or about $77,500. So more expensive than the Staria in that case. But I think the key competitor that everyone will be sort of looking at is from Hyundai's sibling company, Kia, and that's the Kia Carnival. So the Kia Carnival is priced for around $67,000. It's an 8-seater and it comes in at just under 1.8 meters tall. But I think that's pretty much the benchmark for this. So if you need that extra room, that extra space, you want that something that looks a little different, the Staria could be the one for you. But just keep in mind the pros and cons when you're looking at the competition as well. The Staria does a pretty good job of trying to keep everybody in the car connected. There are USB-A ports throughout. We've got 2 at the front and then 2 for each of the rows behind us. You've got the rear occupant camera, which is a handy, nice feature, and you can control the climate from the front here and adjust it for the rear. In tricking this out for 8 occupants, there are 16 cup holders throughout. They're everywhere. And there are storage pockets all over as well. There's one in front of you here on the dash. There's one behind the main screen. You obviously have the glove box. You've got little cubbies that just pop out of a cup holder of left, right, and center. Cup holder for the driver here, although I would think that's actually a bit of a reach to get to. You have 3 pockets in each of the front doors, and there are more pockets in the sliding doors as well. Did I mention that those are electronic? You can open them via the key, and you can just press a button and they'll open as well. Both of the rear rows can be slid forwards and backwards to maximize your leg room depending on who's sitting back there. It's just a really functional design in this car, and very easy to just accommodate who you're bringing around. What I will note is that the single seat is still on the right hand side, which doesn't make getting in or out of the third row that easy. Yeah, that should be on the left hand side, so then you only have to fold the one seat down and let people into the back, but instead the 2 seats have to fold down to make that happen. It's the minor thing, you know, they converted everything else to right-hand drive, but we just noticed that hadn't been. The seats are light enough, but you know, if you've got someone sitting in there, that means they're going to have to get out to make room for someone to get into the back. Just little things. Boot space is a handy 431 litres, but that's with the third row moved forward to allow for that. If you flatten the third row, then you'll get 1,031 litres. So yeah, as you'd expect, there's a lot of room back there. And you've got the features that you'd come to expect now from most modern Hyundais. You've got the blind spot cameras when you use the indicators, which are always handy. Blind spot monitoring. You've got all the sensors to help you with parking. You've got the parking assist cameras too. So pretty standard fare. But as I mentioned, there's none of those annoying warnings about the speed limit or anything like that. It will come up on the screen what the speed limit is, but it's not going to chime at you that you're doing a kilometre over. So I think that's nice. So obviously you have the standard servicing packages with Hyundai. It's every 15,000 Ks or annually with this particular car in either engine configuration. You can pre-purchase your servicing packages. So for 3 years up to 45,000 Ks, that's $1,287. For 4 years to 60,000 Ks, that's $1,846. And for the 5-year 75,000 K package, that's $2,275. Yeah, you can pay them individually as you go, if you would prefer, of course. The multimedia stack is standard Hyundai fare by now. You do have inbuilt radio. You can obviously play media via USB, things like that. There's inbuilt navigation on the Elite and the Highlander, and which is decent. It's decent enough. But you can obviously also plug in your phone for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. That's a wired connection on the Elite and the Highlander models. For some reason on the Staria one, you can have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Go figure. But I do believe that's because the base model doesn't come with the inbuilt nav. So there you go. Color-wise, if you want this in Abyss Black or Creamy White, those are the two no-cost option colors. For the others, like this one in Shimmering Silver, Gaia Brown, Graphite Gray, Moonlight Blue, or Olivine Grey, those are a $695 option. There are also different leather options in some of the colors, not all. So pretty much if you get the darker colors, then you can option up like a cream or beige interior leather, which adds $295 to the list price. So yeah, that's a beige and black tone. There's also a blue and black leather tone, which also adds $295. What we have here is the single tone black, which is a no cost extra. Yeah, so again, if you've got a lot of kids though, I'm not sure you want the beige interior, because that I just imagine is going to be a nightmare to clean. So I think that's about it really. So a big thank you to Hyundai Australia for letting me have this to try out and review for you, and a big thanks to Exhaust Notes Australia for giving me the opportunity to do so. Big thanks to all of you for getting onto our channel and watching our videos. Please subscribe and hit the like button if you like it, and watch our other ones. We've got some more exciting cars to come, and we look forward to bringing those to you real soon. And yes, do get onto our website, Exhaust Notes Australia, and read my review and read the other reviews, because not all of them make it onto YouTube. And we've got some pretty cool cars that have been driven and tested recently that you might be interested in. So go have a look, have a read, and yeah. I'm blabbering too much, so I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. What will I be driving next? See yous.